what was supporting your wellness, what was supporting your health and well-being, and together helping us both to understand what is it for you personally that supports your wellness.
Part of being well in the world involves some sort of reconnection with the body. And so there is this interconnection between mental health for me and creativity and expressiveness and sensory-based experiences. So the things that we see, we hear, we smell, we taste, and we sense in our bodies. And those spaces are very essential for mental health and well-being.
Something about art therapy, it takes me out of my everyday life and what I need to do, and it brings you back into that dialogue that doesn't need to happen through words.
Through COVID, so many different people were looking for different sources of therapy, of help, of something different to do. Myself personally working outside as a nature-based art and equine therapist, the amount of people who flooded in to come and see us just for the drive, to spend time outside, to do something different, who would all leave after our session just feeling renewed and invigorated.
I think what's important about this particular event is bringing like-minded professionals together to instill our place within allied health and keeping on top of our profession.
So having a chance to reflect and to regather energy from each other, because I'm actually not in contact with fellow art therapists very frequently, and to learn from each other and the skills sharing that occurs naturally when you put a whole bunch of creative people together.
The opportunity to come together with other practitioners, it's been a long time. So just sitting with others and chatting about our practice is really important.
It's that face-to-face value that we have had with being able to connect with others again in the field, sharing our knowledge, sharing the experience with each other.
For me, coming to this forum and having an audience with creative health practitioners to highlight some of the ways in which we can be more tuned in to becoming more sustainable in our practices, and also to hopefully provide some knowledge so that the audience can come away with some ways that they can improve those practices.
One of the values that I research by is that the relationship is the most important thing, not the data, not the outcome. That the relationship is what can be transformational, usually way more than any kind of product or traditional outcomes.
Having such a broad range of us coming together as a group and sharing our stories, that's, I suppose, what's really important for me, the learning from so many different aspects.
The workshop I offered, we started with a little bit of a definition and then went into some reflective processes and journaling around what's most important to me, what are my values and beliefs, what do I turn to when things are challenging, some of those kinds of questions that just dig a little bit deeper. And then we moved into some art making, which was just beautiful, and finished up with some pair work, and people found that pair work really valuable to actually share their stories with someone.
It's important for therapists to challenge some of the ideas about what they bring to their work. The encounter be more human beings working together on exploring just very human issues. Just bring yourself rather than, your role when you're working.
This weekend is quite powerful to me. There's a lot of powerful stuff that I learned. There's a lot of things that actually helping me to unpack for my own professional practice. It's definitely worthwhile coming here over this weekend.
For my workshop, it's very much about self-compassion and being kind to yourself, filling your own cup and not pushing through when you know you need that time for yourself.
Some of the things that I've heard this morning from the presenters have been about connecting people and the relationships. So that relationship between people is really, really important, but also the relationship between our environment that we're in, so our interconnectivity within the environment. So I feel that as creative health practitioners, we want to be really placing an emphasis on relationships, and I think the relationship between people and planet is an incredibly important one, because without that feeling that we're protecting the life-sustaining planet that we have, it won't protect us as well. So I think there's a great need to underpin people and planet in the work that we do.
There's something about being out in Mother Nature and then either being inspired by her. It brings that art making into being. And there's something about that process too that kind of brings you home to yourself.
I was really overwhelmed by the invitation, but at the same time excited, because I find that this is a great chance for me to showcase these skill sets. We actually turn into kids when we are doing origami in the moment. I saw many of them became kids, laughing, giggling, chatting, and asking for help and all that. I think that collective energy was very positive and healthy. One particular sentence stood up to me, saying that we should guard and protect our sacred whale, because that itself shouldn't be taken away. That itself is the energy that we can take along and use it for other people and support other people.
It has cemented what I have known about creativity and mental health. And then also, I suppose, reassurance from everyone else who's here. Yes, creativity, mental health, they come hand in hand in wellness.
Creativity is innate in all of us, and at some stage we lose that. And so I think that it's a rich resource for all of us to be able to keep engaging with what is that's creative. We can rationalise a lot in our own mind, and I feel like the creative arts gives us an opportunity to be able to feel, not just in our heads but in our bodies as well, to reflect on whatever we've produced or made, and to be able to dialogue with that and make meaning of that.
When you sit down and are able to make things, in our case we're using language, not other modes yet, but even with language it's still the power of feeling your own agency and bringing your own story to the work.
Connecting with my peer is important to me as well. Refilling my own creative well is important. And having a weekend to just get away.
The kinds of space that we hold for people is incredibly precious. So to keep showing up and to enable ourselves to keep doing that, to attend to our own self-care as well. I think there are different pathways for different people, but having that opportunity to explore in that way is really important. And yeah, it would just be incredible if arts therapists were in every school and universities and workplaces and health centres.
Mental health is quite broad, so being able to tap into the little pockets of what that means for people, it's really broadened that scope and how I want to work as well, and what I'm going to take back with me when I go back to Melbourne in my work. If we were to share with more of the community, more of society, art therapy, then more people can receive the benefits and understand it more and see how it can be utilised in all different ways.
The most important message I think I'd love to share is about trusting the art therapy process.